What up, turtle ducks and bubble butts? This is your mama, Miss Pineapple Freeze, back with another video. So, man, I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about today, but I know that I'm gonna talk about just a little bit. Where's my video? There it is. Talk just a little bit about when I worked at the grocery store, Kroger to be specific, K. Roger. So I was there about, let's say, 2 years, 2.5 years. I couldn't do it anymore. It felt like 35, but you know. So I was working there one day, just got back from vacation. I was so like rejuvenated, feeling so good. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this day on. It's going to be the best one of the year. You know, I'm feeling good. I had a whole week off. Then went to Nashville. You know, you know, got to have some fun, whatever. So then I go to work, and it's like 6 a.m. I was working like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., something crazy. I walk in, and just all hell started breaking loose as soon as I came to work. This one lady fell down with her walker, broke her hip. This other old lady fell in like aisle 7 with the potato chips because she was just fiending for some Doritos apparently. She fell over and she done like had osteoporosis and busted a vein and was bleeding everywhere, and then she had her bones poking out of her legs and her arms. Oh my god. Compound fracture. No. But she had one. And then I was like, I need to just step away. I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to go clean the bathrooms. You know, while the EMTs are in here screaming at each other, giving me a PTSD flare up, actually. And so I went to the bathroom, got my little card, you know, and I got my hand soap ready because that's what I used to mop the floor with because they was too broke to give us any Pine Sol. So I had my hand soap in the mop bucket, get ready to mop the floor, and I opened up the door and just a steaming hot pile of fresh morning coffee, Maxwell House, Starbucks, Folgers in your cup shit in the floor. Burning, steaming hot. Florida weather hot turd just in the floor. And I was like, absolutely not. So I was like, okay, I'll just go get my boss. We'll figure this out. I went upstairs in his office and knocked on the door just a little bit, like, you know, not too much. I didn't want to scare him because I'm sure he was up there eating his donuts in peace. He'd be pissed off if I, you know. So I opened the door, you know, I knocked on it just a little bit. And I'm like, hello, like I have a question, and he was like, okay. I was like, I need some help downstairs in the bathroom, and I could get it myself, but I'm really not too sure, you know, the best method of cleaning this mess up. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, just come down here with me. You'll understand when we get in the bathroom. He's like, okay. So we go downstairs. Like a 15-minute walk, it felt like, because I was so scared. Open up the bathroom door, and he looks at it, and he's like, well, I know what you should do. I said, what? He was like, get you a little piece of cardboard, cut it in half, and just scoop it up. I was like, what? I was like, that ain't nacho cheese. It's a turd. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, long story short, I ended up doing it because I needed an 875 to put gas in my car, but I did not want to do it. But I did it because I was broke. But then the next week I started looking for another job, but I didn't get another one for like another year. That's when I decided that I needed to do something else, and I did. And it worked out.
There was also this other situational error where people thought that they could test me and they actually shouldn't have. Well, back to my boss that we were talking about. He decided that, you know, he was going to put carpet in the buggy room. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So that way, I guess when it, like, rains and gets nasty, that you want it to smell like Famunda cheese in here, ass and corn chips. Like, is that what you want? I mean, I guess that's what he wanted. He wanted everybody's life to suck, so he decided to put carpet in there. So, I was the only person working up front, and he was like, so do me a favor, just take all these buggies out and put them on the sidewalk, and in the morning, we'll figure it out, and I'll have somebody put them back in here. And I was like, okay. So I come to work the next morning after I'd done all that, and then there was literally like 45 buggies still out on the, sidewalk. And then she had that other one inside, and he was like, okay, so this is what happened. I walked in and there was no carpet down. He was like, so this is what happened. So they called me this morning and said they were so sorry, but they weren't going to be able to make it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I was so mad. So they ended up coming and they put it down. Well, they kind of left like a little bit of a mess, and our vacuum cleaner was broken. So out of like all the 57,842 people that worked up in there, he decided to tell me that I needed to clean it up with my fingers on my knees. Nope. No, ma. I did not do it. I said, we get the vacuum cleaner fixed and I'll do it. And that's when he started to not like me. So, if you want to be on good terms with your boss, what I could have done was just pretend that I was actually doing it, but, see, I wasn't that smart. I was like 17 and I was stupid. So I was like, no. But I could have pretended like I was until he walked away. But, it is what it is. But we really did be having some crazy names for people there, though, that worked there, like Stinky Samantha and, like, crazy stuff like that, like Hooker Hootin' Nanny Hannah, like, whatever it was. But there was this one girl, and she looked like a witch, like an actual witch. And everybody called her Crimson Chin. So, before I ever started working there, like, she had gotten in trouble and then left, and then she came back. Well, after she came back the second time, she was working there with us, and we were all outside, like pushing buggies because it was crazy. And she was like, so I'm going to come out here and help you guys push buggies and get y'all caught up because it's just crazy out here. And like there's no way that anybody's ever going to get caught up with all the customers we have because it was some kind of holiday. Like it might have been the 4th of July, but it was so hot outside. But she came out there and she started pushing buggies. And then, long story short, she passed out. And then this big guy that we used to work with, he went inside and he was like, look, we got the Crimson Chin down, like she gone bad, she dying out there. And they were like, oh, well, who was that? So then I started laughing and they thought that it was like all a joke to me because she was actually hurt, but that wasn't why I was laughing. So that was a whole ordeal and I was like, we don't need to be worried about this right now. We need to worry about old girl out there on the street dying, hyperventilating for some air, sucking on a bag and stuff. So he was like, okay, the big guy, Micah, he was like, okay, so, y'all just come out here, we'll figure out what's going on. So we went out there, and do you want to know she was gone? She was gone. She literally staged it, so that way we would come inside, and when nobody was looking, she would run away, go get her car was gone. She left, and we never did see her again. She quit her job. Ridiculous. I was like, she probably ran away with Dirty Big Dan. That was another guy that worked there in the meat department. Then there was the one, like, stinky boring hoe that used to work there. Her name was, like, Bangladesh, or, like, Goose Neck, or, like, Chicken, I don't even know. But she had, like, an obsession with cats. And I think that she used to, like, eat them. Because every time the Hong Kong restaurant next door was cooking, she'd be like, smells like whiskers. Then there was this other girl that worked there, and she was, like, from a different country, too. and her name was Sauna. You know, like the thing you get in at the gym, the sweat. Yeah, that. And she was like really cool. She was like my friend, and then we ended up going to college together later. But anyway, they kind of looked a lot alike. So every time that this girl, Bangladesh or Goose Throat or whatever her name was. Like whenever this girl would get in trouble, she would blame it on Sauna. And she'd be like, that girl, Sana, or whatever. So then nobody believed her because she wasn't saying her name right. But basically what she would do is she would leave work and go over to the Hong Kong place and hang out with them. And I really think that they were like in some kind of conspiracy thing. I don't even remember what that girl's actual, like, for real name was. But really though, her dirty, monkey-looking ass, she used to stick her fingers up her nose to the knuckle and try to, like, pull the slimiest booger out of her nose and put it on the lettuce and the tomatoes and the carrots and stuff. And one time we had this little lady that came in and she was like, hey, I need a paper bag. And Goose Throat was like, like, we don't have no paper. It's nice. And the little old lady was like, oh, that's okay, give me plastic. And she was like, okay. So she gave her plastic, and then I thought it was over, you know. So about a week went by, a good week went by. That girl, and the girl had got fired in this point in time because she was sneaking out back and stealing the expired wine and drinking it on the clock. But that's a whole nother story for another video and another 20-minute video in itself. But she was fired, and then this little old lady came in, and I was waiting on her, and I was ringing up, you know, her stuff at the register. And she was like, hey, I'm not sure if that girl's here, but she didn't give me my paper bags, and I was wondering if you could give me some this time. And I was like, sure. So I put her stuff in paper, you know, and I was feeling real good about it, you know. And she walked out the door, and apparently in the parking lot, like 3 of them busted open, and like everything fell off the bottom. So she came back in, and she was like standing at the customer service desk looking like all mad, and I didn't understand why she was so mad. And she told them up front that I deliberately gave her paper bags with messed up bottoms on them just so she could go outside and drop all her stuff because I was mad because she asked for them in the first place. Now, how much sense does that make? I'm about to blow up this helicopter. Yeah. But, like, what kind of sense does that make? On a side note, how many cops have I killed? You could tell it's a simulation. I don't even know how many city cops. Look at that. I don't know how many cops are in the city, but I know it ain't this many. Big goods. Big lots. But yeah, I bet Monkey Neck's in prison by now. So, it's all good. And, you know, whatever. But, so, there was also a girl that worked there. Her name was Bree, and we were really good friends. And we still are. We still talk sometimes. But, you know, how you make those friends at work that you like friends with outside of work. She was like the only one, really, there that I did that with. And, one time, she was turning 20, I think. I was still in high school. I guess I was 18, about to graduate, but I was getting ready to graduate, I remember now, but she was turning 20, and she was like, yeah, we're going to party at my boyfriend's house, you know, and his parents ain't going to be there because they're out of town and all this stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we went there, and it was like 30 minutes away from home. And, we went out there, and we, you know, were like having a good time, and we were drinking, but it wasn't a lot. Well, this one girl, she, of course, drank everybody's everything, and she was like falling around all over the place. And it was like one of Bree's really good friends. Well, she let the dog out, and this was in a residential neighborhood. Well, the dog ran away, and we were all out there falling on our face trying to find this dog. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's in this neighborhood with a bunch of old people, and they're coming out on the porch like, what's going on? I'm scared that they're going to call the police because it's a bunch of like drunk 20-year-olds outside, you know, looking for a dog. And then we decided to hop in this guy's truck, me and Bree and her friend, and, you know, her boyfriend. So we get in the truck, and we're riding around the neighborhood just like looking, and Bree's screaming his name, the dog's name out the window, you know. So we pull up to this house, and the girl that was drunk and was in the back seat with me, she was like, hey, oh yeah, I bet these people know where they are, and just hops out of the truck and runs up to these strangers' house. They had all their lights off, porch light was off, and just sits on their porch swing and starts rocking. Well then, her back door is still open at this point. So then she's just rocking on her little porch swing, you know. I was waiting for her to sing a song. And then she was like about to get up, and then the porch light turned on. So Bree's boyfriend slammed on the gas. So he slammed on the gas, and then we was driving down the road, so then she started running. And I don't know how she didn't eat shit, but she didn't. Running back to the truck. I don't know how she didn't like bust her face open. But then she finally gets back in the truck. We run back to the house. We're freaking out, sweating, you know, a hot mess. My clothes look like I fought in World War II, and it was just bad. So then we get back to the house and open up the door, and the dog is sitting on the porch. Hot mess. Wasted all that time for nothing. And yeah, that's a pretty good story. But like, we used to do all kinds of stuff. One time we went shopping and had to drive like 25 minutes out of town, you know, to go wherever we were going in a little Chevy Cruze, and about ran off the side of the mountain. Yeah. One thing I'm glad that I'm not having to deal with though at my new job, or like that I didn't have to deal with at my old job that I do at my new one, is that people like did not stink at Kroger. Like when I worked there, I don't remember anybody walking around smelling like a can of ass. Like, I just don't remember it. But now, it's like every 20 minutes at my job. I don't know if it's where we're like in a little like cubicle like section thing or whatever, but I just be smelling cake of bacon, dirty nuts, and I don't even know. Like, I just don't even know. Cow shit. It just stinks so bad. Well, there's this girl that I know that she don't wash her feet, and I just had to say that, and I'm not going to say her name, but she smells like asshole, and I can't. But she is gross, and she left, and she came back, and she should have never came back. Period. Smells like the fart noise, but the real thing. Turd in the throne. Oh. I gotta work tomorrow though. And I guess I could end this video by saying how I left Kroger. But basically I went and took a pharmacy tech class, and then I got a job at a pharmacy. So that's where I work now. And I was in Chicago on a vacation, and then I got hired. So I was like, oh God. I just got hired over the phone, and I can't put my 2 weeks in. He wanted me to come in like the Monday that I got back, and I wasn't going to be able to work out my 2 weeks. So I was like, dang. So I just had to go and quit in my pajamas at Kroger on the drive back home before I even went home. And it was a mess. And the assistant manager was like, oh, that's cool. I used to be a pharmacy tech too. And I was like, I don't care. Like, can I just get out of here? Looking like a damn woodpecker. What? So, that's gonna be all for today's video. If you got any woodpeckers or, you know, smelly Samanthas or stinky hoes in general that you work with and you're sick and tired of them, go pat them on the back and tell them that they are doing an amazing job at being terrible and making you hate your life, and that they make you want to go swimming in Niagara underneath the waterfall. But yeah, peace.